A few months ago, I directed my team at the White House to look into any new actions I can take to help reduce gun violence. And on Monday, I'll meet with our Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, to discuss our options. Because I get too many letters from parents and teachers and kids to sit around and do nothing.
That was President Obama vowing to bypass Congress entirely to enact gun control. Is this really the will of the people or a president pushing his personal agenda? That's a rhetorical question, of course. Here to weigh in, Fox News contributor Katie Pavlich, who joins us live from Washington. Good to see you this morning, Katie.
Good morning, Tucker.
So this is a response to terrorism, the president says. Based on your knowledge of recent terror attacks in this country and Europe, are the executive orders the president's about to carry out going to stop terrorists? Would they have stopped terror attacks?
And the answer is no, and it really is quite amazing that the President of the United States is taking a domestic approach to gun control, going around Congress, despite the fact that Democrats in Congress have been opposed to his gun control agenda, and using terrorism as an example of why we need more gun control. I mean, Americans feel the opposite. Americans feel like they are vulnerable. They feel like they want to have more access to firearms in order to defend themselves. And here we are with the president now, after years of Congress, and again, controlled by Democrats at one point, denying President Obama his gun control agenda. He's going around Congress to do what he wants because he says he has to do something. And the main question here is, based on the president's words, he says he wants to stop gun violence. Well, based on the fact that he wants to expand background checks, and he's meeting with Loretta Lynch on Monday, background checks aren't going to do much to stop terrorism, not to mention deter criminals. And so I'm not sure President Obama is doing this in the way that's going to actually have an effect.
Right. And we should point out that the terror attacks in San Bernardino were carried out with weapons that were bought legally. The people who bought them underwent background checks. Republicans in Congress say they have not been consulted at all on this. The NRA has not been consulted. Only people who agree with the president have talked to him about his plans for new gun control. Do we know what exactly this is going to entail?
Well, the White House isn't releasing specific details about what they're going to do. Now, the White House has been saying for years that they want to expand so-called universal background checks. They want to close the non-existent gun control loophole. And really, the president doesn't have a lot of avenues here to go legally, which is why he's meeting with Attorney General Loretta Lynch on Monday. But they have talked about maybe expanding the definition of who qualifies as a gun dealer that requires a federal license to sell firearms. They do want to implement some kind of form of regulatory process, meaning the number of guns that you can sell in a certain period of time. They want to maybe regulate that. But the president has some tough, legal paths here to go with. And the White House is saying that it's complicated. They're not sure what they're going to do yet, but they are looking at a proposal. Now, it's important to point out where this is coming from. Who exactly did President Obama meet with before he went on his Hawaii vacation? Well, that was former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. And in December, Bloomberg's group, Everytown, came out with this 12-page report detailing what they want the president to do. One of the things they suggested was requiring background checks for people who simply rent handguns at gun ranges. So they're going for everything here. And let's not forget that this is a group that also wants Australian-style gun confiscation as well. So we're not just talking about gun control here. We're talking about confiscation.
No, by the end, I'm going to need the president's permission to give my son a .22 for Christmas. You watch.
Exactly.
Katie Pavlich, appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, Tucker.